Here.
Councilman Ayer.
Here.
Councilman Torkelson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Now.
Here.
And Mayor Fitch. Here. Do you rise for the invocation of the pledge? Bless those present, O Lord, that the business conducted here this evening will be for the continued betterment of our city and in keeping with thy commandments. We ask in God's name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Leslie. And my statement pursuant to Executive Order Number 20-69 issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2020, and is extended by Executive Order 2193. Municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location. Instead, municipalities may use communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing as provided by the Florida statutes. Tonight, we have all of our members present and in attendance, and a minimal number of key staff, and we're following the governor's emergency orders and the city's emergency declarations regarding COVID-19. I'd now like to ask the city attorney to explain the procedures for public comment and participation in this meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. On April 6, 2020, the City Council adopted these procedures for using communications media technology as provided by Section 120.54, Paragraph 5B2, Florida statutes. Members of the public wanting to participate in the meeting were asked to submit their questions or comments on agenda items with their name and address and a reference to the agenda item on which they wish to comment by email to the city clerk at cityclerks@gulfbreezefl.gov or by regular mail to the city clerk's attention at the City of Gulf Breeze, 1070 Shoreline Drive, Gulf Breeze, Florida 32561. All written comments for this meeting must have been received by 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on September 17, 2020. Anyone wanting to comment on an agenda item during the meeting or anyone who would like to participate in the public forum at the end of the meeting or in the public hearing to take place in the course of this meeting can call in to the following toll-free number, 1-888-585-9008, call code 186-319955. Hold and your call will be answered in turn. Comments on agenda items and in the public forum and hearing may also be made via the chat box on YouTube Live. The standard rules apply, with comments being limited to 3 minutes and applicable to the agenda item topic being considered. Instructions on how to attend through electronic media and the phone number that I've just read to you can also be obtained by following the instructions at the following link, www.cityofgulfbreezefl.us or https://cityofgulfbreeze.us/the-budget/ Pursuant to Section 286.0105 Florida statutes, anyone who wants to appeal a decision made by the council in this meeting with respect to any matter will need a record of the proceedings, and for that purpose may need to ensure a verbatim record of the proceedings is made. The city does not make a verbatim record but does record the meeting, and a copy of the recording can be obtained from the city clerk, and that will ensure that you have the record, including comments and evidence on which any appeal, if it is to be made, would be based. That's all. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we have 2 resolutions that we're going to review tonight, and we'll begin with the public hearing portion for resolution number -55-2020, which is the final millage rate for tax year 2020. And that, Samantha, I believe you're going to talk to us a minute about that.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On September 14th, the Council set the preliminary millage rate of 1.9723 mils. This rate was pre-established by the Council during your July 30th special Council meeting. As discussed at their prior workshops, the city's proposed millage rate will generate approximately $98,536, projected at 100%, or $93,609 projected at 95% of revenues of ad valorem. With that, the recommendation is that the council hold the virtual public hearing at this advertised special meeting and approve the final millage rate of 1.9723 mils.
All right, thank you. So again, in the formal portion, the millage rate for the city of Gulf Breeze for fiscal year 2021 is 1.9723 mils, which is equal to the rollback rate of 2.2991 mils, and is necessary to fund the budget. The rollback rate is the millage rate that will provide the same ad valorem tax revenue as levied during the prior year. At this time, I'll open the meeting for public hearing.
I have not received any comments by email prior to the meeting, and I've not received any through our YouTube live chat or by phone.
All right, thank you. All right, we will close the public hearing. I'll ask for a motion and a second for resolution 5050-2020 to set the tentative millage rate for the city of Gulf Breeze at 1.9723 mils for the fiscal year 2021, beginning October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any council discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. So the tentative millage rate for the city of Gulf Breeze is 1.9723 mils for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2020, and ending September 30th, 2021, which is equal to the rollback rate of 2.2991 mils. All right, now we'll move on to resolution number 56-2020, final budget for the fiscal year 2021. And this, as the budget for the city of Gulf Breeze for fiscal year 2021 is $34,759,000, which is approximately $4,144,430,000, or 10.8% decrease than the fiscal year 2020 budget. Leslie, do we have any public hearing?
No, ma'am. I've not received anything prior to the meeting by email, and I don't see any comments through the YouTube live chat or and we do not have any callers on the line.
All right, thank you. All right, we will close the public hearing. Do we have a motion and a second for resolution 56-2020?
Move for approval. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any council discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0, and therefore the budget for the city of Gulf Breeze for fiscal year 2021 is $34,083,759,000 with a millage rate of 1.9723 mils, which is equal to the rollback rate of 2.2991 mils. Do we have any new business? All right.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say, I thought there's something down there.
I missed my cue. Mayor and Council, we have in front of you Resolution 58-2020. This is a resolution drafted by the City Attorney ratifying and adopting Resolution 57-2020, supplementing the state of local emergency due to the tropical storm Hurricane Sally. And this is just to provide for the curfew. And as advised each one of you individually, that is in keeping with the curfew that's also being provided by our other area local governments affected by the hurricane.
Okay. All right, and that's it?
That's it?
Okay.
What is the end date of that curfew, or do we have to set that?
It's not a set date, Mayor Pro Tem. It is upon further action by the mayor or the council or the expiration of the declaration of the state of emergency. So, it's out there until, if it's prior to, if there's not a council meeting happening, the mayor could decide, and conferring with the chief of police and with the city manager that it's no longer necessary. It may be the same time that the local state of emergency is lifted, although it may be we're still in a state of emergency but don't need the curfew. Those would be things just to be determined as we go forward. And then, you know, also if the council is meeting, they could make that same determination, so.
Okay, all right, thank you. Do we have public forum?
Need a motion.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Move for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I can't stay out as late as
So our next meeting is not scheduled till when? October what?
October fifth.
October 5th?
Yes, but again, the way that it's written, it
Yeah.
can be, as Mary Jane explained, it can be lifted at any time.
Right, the mayor took the action yesterday to put it into effect. And when the mayor does that and exercises her authority under the code, then the council makes the determination at its next meeting whether or not to ratify that. So you're ratifying this tonight, but the mayor, you know, can lift the curfew through another resolution and declaration or amendment to the declaration anytime before the next meeting, and then you would just,
Yeah.
again, act to ratify that.
Yeah.
All right.
You-
And I should probably
you got a
say,
timeline you're thinking?
Well, I'm thinking like maybe next week or something, you know, because I think it's been quiet at night, and that was the main thing, is just to, you know, keep traffic off the streets, and, you know, if they're not safe and they're not cleaned up, or people being out too late and that kind of thing. So I don't think it'll be long at all.
Can I add some comment to that?
Sure.
well,
Yeah.
before we do, I just want to interject that I think I unfortunately gave the impression that it was the mayor who just decided to do a curfew, but it was at the recommendation of our police chief and our sheriffs. We have had incidences of potential looting of our Publix yesterday, and we have had to patrol citizens trying to get onto Pensacola Beach just to take a look around, and we don't have the police ability to do that. And the Escambia County, because they were so affected by the hurricane, has not been able to do that either. So the problem is that at night, that's when our police are stretched the thinnest. And so I didn't mean to cut you off, but I felt really bad that I did not just further explain why it was that the mayor had made the decision at the recommendation of our police chief.
Is the Pensacola, the toll bridge open now, Bob Sykes?
Bob Sykes Bridge is still closed. It is structurally unsafe.
No,
it's open
no,
too
Bob
late.
Sykes is the toll bridge
It's open.
to the
Um,
beach.
So, yes, the bridge to the beach is structurally unsafe. And we right now have Escambia,
People are crossing.
I believe the mayor was at a press conference just in the last couple of hours where they did update that.
And it was my understanding that
Just
there
for
were two
residents,
lanes
though.
open on the Bob Sykes Bridge.
for police holders
Right.
Yeah,
and businesses.
And businesses.
well, I apologize because obviously was not aware of the most recent update. The update that I just had from Santa Rosa County Emergency Management is that right now in the parking lot of Live Oak Shopping Center, the state of Florida is dropping off trailers of goods that then will have to be picked up by Bobcat onto the back of pickup trucks in order to make it safe to travel across the bridge. And I did take the phone call from Escambia asking that our police patrol it because of the concern for safety of citizens. So I wasn't aware that that had been lifted, but it was the impetus for the curfew at that time and the concern that our police were stretched too thin.
So did you hear late this afternoon that it was closed? Maybe it changed.
I have not asked for an update of its opening or closure. What I had last heard is the concern for the safe travel of vehicles coming back and forth and wanting to discourage just, onlookers.
And that makes sense, but I do know, we've been across for businesses. And I guess the only concern, I've been to Lillo's restaurant, I went and visited him to see how they were doing, and Bridge Bar, and they're both hustling, getting the places cleaned up and ready because they have a lot of problems, so they're ready to open the doors to get public to come back and start, have food for people. So I would like to see that we're able to give them that opportunity because, you know, by lifting the curfew as soon as we can. I understand it's a good idea to have it in the beginning because of the safety of trees down and navigation, but since the 3 Mile bridge is closed, I think that's gonna cut traffic considerably coming through El Freeze, period. So it's probably just gonna be our locals around, running around trying to do stuff.
And I
So-
think that, with Chief Hawthorne, when the part of the conversation that I was in on, they were just concerned about not being able to monitor all the streets and all the activity at night, and apparently, and then yesterday afternoon, there was I guess like a potential break-in at, Publix.
We don't.
Yeah, later, so we're not, and these, I'm speaking for myself, I'm not anticipating that this will last long.
Right.
I think it's just still things settle down a little bit, and then still at night, certainly Gulf Power and any other companies like that that are working on our systems, it does not apply to them.
I got you. I just, as long as you get to a point where y'all can say, hey, you know, it looks like we're good, you can say, lift it, you know,
Absolutely.
without it being an extended period of time so that we're not locked up, masked up.
Yeah,
I don't know, sitting here right now, what percentage of residents we have
You mean
with
get
power,
right in?
what percentage of residents we have with water. So I just am not at the point where I'm thinking about entertainment. Right now, we don't know the number of residents affected by floodwaters, how many residents have power, and how many residents have water. So we're just still in the first 48 hours, but we don't expect an extended curfew recommendation.
What are the consequences if you're out past 9 or before 7? What?
It's just a tool for our local law enforcement to stop and just question people's intentions.
Right, and it is, I mean, there are some enforcement authority for local law enforcement under Chapter 252, the emergency provisions in the Florida Code. So, you know, in their discretion, they can exercise those.
Is the 7 a.m. cutoff, is that because that's daylight?
It's consistent with our quiet hours in our code, and so that was
Yes,
the
that's correct. That was
recommendation.
at the fire chief's recommendation that it be consistent with our code for quiet hours.
Because some of my service guys go out earlier in the morning.
That's kind of what I was thinking. People
Yeah.
exercise, that
We can just rescind the curfew. We don't, if it's a problem.
we want to be supportive, we just want to.
Yeah.
But again, law enforcement has discretion if it's, you know, someone like your people going, you know, to their job and it needing to be out for work purposes. I think the main thing is to protect property from looting, and again, as the city manager's indicated, we don't know yet, you know, the status, and there are businesses that have damaged their residences, they're still without power and other services, and so it's for public safety.
Okay.
okay, all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, and we will keep this only as briefly as we need to. Then motion passes 5-0. All right, discussion items, anyone? Okay, public forum. Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
just want to thank everybody up here for y'all's support in the East Basin Drainage Project. I had to witness it firsthand in action, and this was probably the biggest test that it was put upon in the Plantation Hill subdivision area. I'm sorry, sad that it wasn't able to be completed for the Shirley and McClure, so I know they were still a little hung out to dry, but I know the city and staff did a good job of getting pumps out there to help prevent any flooding in those areas. But the pond held up well. I estimated 27 inches of rain that we received. And I can assure you, if that pond, if that project would not have been put in, we would have flooded in Plantation Hill again, without a doubt. But it did well, it served its purpose, and there was not even any water in the street. So I want to thank everybody for y'all's support in making that happen. It did great.
Okay, thank you. Public forum, Leslie?
I know, ma'am, I've not received anything.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.